Let me take a time to say a special good morning to our listeners, good morning to our viewers of GBN TV and Classic Radio. So those of you listening Classic Radio, of course, and viewing GBN TV, good morning to you. Welcome to another edition of To The Point. It's Friday, the 7th day of November within the year 2025. I'm your host, GT. Good morning once again to one and all, especially those of you via our social media platforms, whether it's the Facebook page, YouTube channels. Good morning. It's certainly a pleasure to have you with us this morning here on today's edition of To The Point. I do have a special guest with us this morning, of course, representing the movement. I hope I could say it in that particular way. We have Dr. Anthony Bridgman with us this morning, and let me see if I could tap him in here one time. Good morning to you, sir. Dr. Bridgman, good morning and welcome. Welcome to The Point this morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me on the program, and good morning to your listeners.
Certainly it's a pleasure to have you, sir. How are you doing? How are you doing anyway? By the way, how are you doing? Let me get that little chit-chat before we get into the meat of the conversation. Let's get that little chit-chat. How are you doing this morning?
I'm great. It's Friday. Friday's always a welcoming day. So, I always say happy Friday to everyone. So happy Friday to you and to your listeners and everyone in Grenada, the diaspora, everyone that listens to you. Happy Friday, Grenada.
All right, same to you, sir. There are probably individuals listening to us this morning. Some may have seen you on other platforms. There are those who are listening and viewing and saying, Dr. Anthony Bridgman, give me a small bio about yourself, sir, before we move on. As yes, the miniature version, if you can.
For the opportunity. Well, I am a proud Grenadian, I always say. Born in Bylands, grew up in Bylands, went to St. Mary's RC School in Bylands, GBSS, and started teaching in Grenada until I...
All right, we may have lost Dr. Bridgman there just for a bit. We lost you there for a couple of seconds, sir. Our apology for the connection issues we probably may experience as we go along this morning. But maybe you could just start back once again because we lost you there for a few seconds.
Oh, wow, sorry about that. Are you hearing me now?
Loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Yes. I was saying that describe myself as always a proud Grenadian. From St. Andrews, Bylands, attended the St. Mary's RC School, GBSS, and left Grenada in 1987 to the United States to join my mom. In the U.S., education was my foundational piece with college. So I went that route and was very successful with a doctorate in educational leadership and policy studies with 3 masters and a number of certifications in postgraduate certificate in family therapy and mental health. I do teach at a postgraduate level, education, leadership, and policy studies, and I'm a school administrator for the past 20 plus years or 25 years in the U.S. My main job has been in education and leadership. I do go around national and internationally, do workshops on leadership and different topics, and always in Grenada because that's my home and that's my love, that's my passion.
Thank you so much for that. Of course, as I said, that was a miniature version of the bio there. Our conversation this morning will base a whole lot on the movement, one of the new political organizations as of is soon to be launched. The launching of the movement, sir. And if the question is to be asked, why no?
Well, and thank you so much for this question. And this has been a question that has been asked quite often. Why now? So let me take you back into the movement, the grassroots developmental stages of the movement. No political movement or political party can just come and say, we're forming a party, we're forming a movement. There is a structure that needs to take place. There is grassroots pieces in terms of understanding the dynamics. Are we ready? You must build infrastructure. You must go around listening to the people. And for the past, I would say, 9 months or so, we have been working behind the scenes with regards to, I'm here to talk about the policy statements, and we have worked with a team of people from Grenada, from the diaspora, professionals, local Grenadians, from the public service sectors, and different people who really have, most of them maybe have not been in politics before, but there was again dire need for them to get involved and craft something to come forward. So we thought about, because, if we were bowing to public pressure, we could have launched a whole long time ago, because people are asking for the launch. Are you missing a golden opportunity here or there? But when we have gathered together, we have assessed the ground and realized that this is the time to do it, because you have to have everything in place. You don't want to have a launch and then after the launch, there is nothing. We have seen that happen in Grenada politics and the Caribbean politics. People come out and say, we are doing this, we are doing that, we're having a big launch, and this is our color, this is our aim, this is our purpose. And then after that, what happens? You must have systems and structure in place. So I think now our launch next week is a good time to launch, because we have set the ground rules, the groundwork, the movement in terms of local base and people being involved and stuff. So I think now is the time.
The question may also be asked, your reason for your full support behind the movement, if you could answer that for me. Because some folks may say, well, they may have known of your strong affiliation with the New National Party back then. And now your movement, you with the movement in terms of the support that you're offering. The reason why.
I always, and the why is important, and I always like to share my why. I teach the why, the necessary of your why. In leadership, your why matters a lot. And I think it was last week, for the past 2 weeks, I've been writing my Sunday read on my why with regards to the movement. Yes, I was a supporter of the New National Movement, New National Party, and I didn't leave the New National Party. I would say they left me. There were some things I really didn't like, and I voiced it quietly behind the scenes to people that I trust, and because I always think about the greater need of our people, not just the here and now. I look at things in the future and how things going to affect the decisions that are made now affect you in the future, because there's a great saying in organizational leadership and culture from Peter Senge: today's problems come from yesterday's solutions. And we see that a lot in our politics. Some of the things that really turned me off was the build up to the convention back in December of 2024. Some of the things that were being said. I think that if you have issues with one person and you don't come.
All right, we have lost Dr. Bridgman there for a few seconds. I hope he, of course, returns shortly. Seem to be having that bit of a connection issue there with him. And yes, Dr. Bridgman, we lost you there a wee bit. Welcome back. Of course, you were explaining the reasons why, of course, you are supporting the movement. Of course, I beg of you, if it's okay with you, to continue. And we may have lost him there again. Sort of having that bit of a connection problem this morning. We're going to take a short break, try to have that rectified a wee bit, and certainly when we come back, we certainly hope to get this conversation rolling off once again.
I'm hearing you, though.
Yes, I'm here, but then we lost it. We are losing you from time to time because of connection. So we're going to take a short break, and then we come back. We certainly will continue with the conversation. Stay with us. It's To The Point Classic Radio, GBN TV. We coming right back. Don't touch it down.
In Grenada. Get ready, Grenada. The Grenadian General Insurance Half Marathon and 10K Road Race is on. Sunday, November 16th. The Half Marathon kicks off at Corinth Junction, St. David's, and the 10K from Wyman's House, Woodlands, with both culminating at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Monetary prizes await the top 10 finishers in the Half Marathon and the top 5 in the 10K, the oldest finisher, and even the school, club, or organization with the most participants. Transportation will be provided. The 10K race is open to all under 15 years. Join us as Grenadian General Insurance celebrates 35 years, protecting what matters and powering our champions.
Grenada, get ready for a fantastic explosion. It's Pan Invasion, the official handover of steel pans to communities across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. On Saturday, November 8th at 5:30 p.m. at the Tanti Netball Court. Experience the thrill of live steel pan music. Feel the rhythm in every beat at Pan Invasion. Enjoy Enjoy electrifying performances by top local steel orchestras and special guest artists. Whether you're a die-hard Pan lover or just in the mood for some good vibes, this is the event you don't want to miss. So join us at Pan Invasion on Saturday, November 8th, 5:30 p.m. at the Tanti Netball Court. Presented by the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture.
Hello Grenada, this is your boy, the Pink Panther, and I'll be performing at the Hubbard's 19th Annual Legends in Concert on the 9th of November. I'm currently celebrating my 50 years in Calypso Business Tango, and there's no better way to celebrate this moment than with you in Grenada on November the 9th. See you there at the Trade Center.
Circumspect and conduct yourself with respect.
You know,
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's To The Point for today, Friday, the 7th day of November 2025. I guess this morning, once again, we have Dr. Anthony Bridgman with us this morning, representing the movement this morning. And, of course, we get to start to tap back into our conversation. Of course, he was certainly making an important point in the last segment that we had to take that break for. But certainly hope that we could try and he could probably give us that brief version. I like to ask for that brief version sometimes, so in the space of time. Dr. Bridgman, once again, good morning and welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
All right, great. And I'm hearing you pretty okay now, so I hope that our connection will be a little bit more stable in this segment. You were actually tapping into your reasons why you were offering your support to the movement in comparison to when you were back then, when you showed a lot of support to the new National Party. I'm not sure if you could tap in from where you left off, because we did get a majority of what you were saying. If you could just tap back in there before we continue on the next conversation level.
Yes, my main point is that I didn't leave the NNP. The NNP left me, because for me as a professor of leadership, and the things that I was hearing, that those things are anti my belief system and my philosophical piece of leadership. Chastisement in public. I teach my class and at that level to let people, future leaders know you're chastised in private and you're praised in public. And what, in terms on the political platform, what they have done to Peter, I couldn't be part of this, because I would be hypocritical, as I wrote in the past, to be part of that. I do believe the NNP has done a lot for Grenada. I would not sit here and talk about that they have not done anything. That's for me is not true to myself. They have done a lot for Grenada with regards to a lot of crisis issues that they have faced. So when they lost, one of the things that the political leader said at that time, that he was not going to be running again. And as any person who has aspiration of leadership, you'll put your name out there. And I remember that the Bubs report where Peter said that if the political leader was not going to be running again, he'll put his name out there, which is a thing to do. The same if I vacate my position in leadership, I expect some of my assistant people and some others to put a name to become leaders, because that's what we do. We teach, we mentor, we coach folks to become that. And what I saw, the public chastisement, is not something I want to be a part of. So I decided, I wrote back in December and January some of the options that Peter should do. And one of the things for me was a no to remain there, but to form a grassroots movement and to really go around the country to listen, to find out. And I met with Peter many times. We talk about philosophy, we talk about values, we talk about Grenada, the plans, the future for Grenada. One of the things that I always walk away from with Peter, his inclusiveness, his belief that he doesn't have all the answers. There is lack thereof of this idea of the supremacy of the leader. He doesn't have that. He is a people's person. And this is something that I want to be part of. And listening to others who came on the scene to be part of that, the philosophy, the guiding principles and guiding values, that's my reason for being part of the movement. People first.
You spoke a whole lot a while ago about leadership. Let's talk about leadership within the movement. Tell us about the leadership. What's going to be different about the leadership factors within the movement, sir?
Number one, our core philosophy is a leadership that listens. And in all our meetings, in all our interaction, people first. Ideas, good decisions, good people, good governance. And that's what we have. For Peter's perspective and Peter's leadership style is not about this is what we're doing. This is, there are times a leader needs to do that, and he has done that. But it's about the people. Let's listen to what are the ideas and what we can come together. Collaboration with different people. It's not a top-down. I am not a believer in top-down leadership. It doesn't work well. Okay? In any organization, there are times that we need direct leadership. But we don't need this idea of I am the leader. People come together, people have ideas, and we listen. The men on the street and coming and giving us ideas and stuff and working together. And when we meet that collaborative effort, it works. So collaborative leadership matters if you in terms of the leadership within the movement, grassroots type leadership. We're looking at people-centered leadership, which matters a lot. What we see a lot in our politics is from the top. Everything has to go through that person, that leader. And I think we are too much. We have too many professionals in the field who have ideas, and always the supremacy of the leader. I resent that piece.
All right. And my final question in this particular segment: so, what makes the movement different from the two other political parties out there? So we're talking about the ruling administration, who's the National Democratic Congress, the opposition party, the main opposition, as we refer to, the new National Party. What makes the movement different, sir?
That's a great question. And the two-party in Grenada, they have done good for Grenada in some instances. Again, you wouldn't get me to come here and criticize and say there's nothing good going on in this current government or in the past government. What we are and what we stand for, values over promises. I think it's really a foundation, a bedrock principle of the movement is values over promises. Citizen-driven policy pieces. I think so many times we see in Grenada, things come from the top, not from citizens. We need to have more people involved in our politics. The movement is inclusive. One of the things, again, that draw me to Peter is his ideas with regards to inclusiveness. I recall many times when he was in NDC, when he was in NNP, and talking about ideas, it doesn't matter where that idea come from. If the opposition has some great ideas, let's run with it. Too many times in our politics, we look at things from who came up with it. If it's NDC and NNP is in charge, no, we're not going to do it because it's NDC. And sometimes with NDC, if it's NNP ideas, no, we're not going to do that. That's NNP. Folks, Grenada is too small to have that. We need to come together as one people. The opposition has a role to play, and the idea is if they have ideas to work together. We're not doing that at all. I'm not seeing that. And the difference is, look what happened last Tuesday with Parliament. For the opposition, the NNP opposition, not to show up in Parliament, the People's House. That's another distinction. Who showed up as the opposition? Peter was there. When decisions are being made, you need to be at the table. And I'm writing a piece on Sunday regarding this. So what differentiates a movement from them? That part of it, showing up even though you may not like what happened the previous week. But this is the People's House. This is where decisions are being made. You cannot make those decisions in the parking lot. You cannot make those decisions sending out a press release. That's not leadership. And GT, you may not like everything that's going on in Parliament with the government and the parliamentary procedure. I mean, they're talking about procedural issues. There were substantive issues being debated last Tuesday. You need to be there to represent your people. So that's another one that distinguished the movement. The movement listens. The movement believes in transparency. The movement believes in good ideas, good people, and good governance. The movement would not hold off in not making decisions and not telling the people. For example, what's going on right now with the requests of the Americans. And we're not saying the Prime Minister or the government needs to come and say, we've decided to do this and do that. Leadership is by telling us, hey, there was a request made here. We're thinking about it. Not just a press release. The voice of the Prime Minister needs to be there, and not just in the Prime Minister's DM with the Prime Minister. That's for his people and his political and his supporters. A speech to the nation matters on subject like this. Again, not telling us that whether or not we make a decision, but here's a request that was made. Yes, he said some stuff in Parliament last Tuesday, which was good. We're not saying that about the decision. We're talking about presence, telling us about it, and not having it be known to us from a journalist. That's the leadership. That's not the leadership we're talking about right now.
Great, sir. Our focus conversation this morning, we're going to talk about the policies of of course, the movement. I want you to start talking to me about those core policies that will certainly drive the movement as a political organization, with the launch coming up and everything, and then as it proceeds towards, the months and weeks to come, hopefully partaking in the next general election. Let's talk about those core policies of the movement, sir.
And thank you for that. And I'm really looking forward to discuss this. And I want to thank the people. We formed a committee way back, I think in February, if I'm not mistaken. And we did a lot of work behind the scenes in terms of research. Grenada's current policies, get ideas from people, as I said before, from professionals, also with regards to community advocates, bringing people together. And I was happy to spearhead that committee. And one of the things I did in teaching policy studies at the postgraduate level, I asked my students, if you were to do some research on policy statements and write policy statements with regards to Grenada, some of them heard about it, but then they started doing some research and looking at our current policies and stuff, and doing a framework for this. And we met with the other folks in Grenada weekly and to talk about it, to craft stuff, go back to the drawing board, and we came up with a number of different policy statements. But I'm proud to report this morning that our 7 core policy statements that you'll hear a lot about, it's education. It's a very big one for us. Education, equity, and innovation. We also have generational equity. That deals with our elder care and our next generation. We have healthcare access and reform. We have also transparent and accountability governance. It's a very big one. Sustainability, development, and climate resilience. Then we talk about the diaspora engagement and partnership, and number 7, economic justice and small business growth. And we have a lot of items and core talking points for each of these policy statements. Whenever someone hears about policy, people say, man, this is boring. But you, as a party, you need to state a commitment, your aspiration, your written documentation as to where you're going, where you want to let the people know this is what we stand for. We took it to our executive. The executive accepted it, and we are happy to talk about what we stand for with regards to build upon what's already there. There are some policies that are working and good. We want to build upon this, because that's the thing about leadership, a continuance on government. You don't change everything that happened with the previous government. You build on it. You study it and you build on it and stuff, and that's something we want to do.
Let's start off with education, and of course it goes down the track that you already are part of as in your professional career, sir. Education. Let's get a bit more of the policy direction of the movement in terms of education.
Yes. And one of the key pieces with regards to education is the infrastructure. We need to modernize our education infrastructure, sorry. And we're talking about broadbands, and I think there's some movement towards that. And, so I want to commend them for that. We're talking about labs, we're talking about digital tools. We're looking also in terms of integrating artificial intelligence. GT, where we are in the world today, every school in the global market utilizing AI. My school district has a clear vision statement on AI. My last faculty meeting was on AI, where I brought in my IT people to talk to my staff about AI. We need to do a lot more to educate our teachers and educate our students about AI. So that's something I think this is where we are in our today too. One of the big pieces, and it has been spoken about a lot. Dr. Antoine spoke about it. I think the Prime Minister also spoke about it. I've been speaking about it for a very long time. We need to see that. A transition from high-stake exams to more project-based assessment, to more in terms of a profile of a graduate in Grenada, rather than just relying upon an exit exam. We really need to do more in preparing our students for the global world, because I don't think we teach much for transfer. I think we teach to a test. So at the end, someone may get 16, 17 passes. But the question that I always ask, what did they learn? And can they adapt to the global market? Because what people are looking for in the world today is not all the passes that you have. They're looking for collaboration. Can you collaborate? 21st century skills. Can you problem solve? Can you critical thinking? And we have a lapse of this in our school system in Grenada. You do interviews with some of those kids who do so well. Look at the communication. So I think our focus needs to be a lot on future-ready schools, for one. Our school system is like the same when I went back in schools in the 1980s in Grenada. We have to adapt and have to change. So I think the education piece and the movement is looking towards that, to modernize our infrastructure, to look at changing relying too much on exit tests and looking at more project-based education and learning, PBL. So those things, GT, I think is a very big piece, and a lot of folks will agree with us because we've seen it. We're too much reliance on test-taking pieces.
And I certainly agree with you with that. And that's the we probably due for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks, to the point. Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back. Don't touch it down.
You know, one day I woke up and, they painted a set of pedestrian crossing all along the streets. Nobody told us how to use that thing properly.
I know how.
You're serious?
Every safe, good driver knows about these things. As a driver, you have to be very attentive. You know you're coming up close to a pedestrian cross, you start slowing down immediately, looking to see if there's any pedestrian on the side getting ready to cross. If there is, you stop on the line that is a certain distance before the crosswalk. Then you would see the pedestrian put their hands out, looking directly at you, indicating that they are going to cross. And only when you have come to a complete stop, that is when they will quickly and safely cross to the other side. And then you continue happily on your journey.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact, wait for pedestrian to cross. Then you happily continue on your journey.
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Get ready, Grenada. The Grenadian General Insurance Half Marathon and 10K Road Race is on. Sunday, November 16th. The Half Marathon kicks off at Corinth Junction, St. David's, and the 10K from Wyman's House, Woodlands, with both culminating at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Monetary prizes await the top 10 finishers in the Half Marathon and the top 5 in the 10K, the oldest finisher, and even the school, club, or organization with the most participants. Transportation will be provided. The 10K race is open open to all under 15 years. Join us as Grenadian General Insurance celebrates 35 years, protecting what matters and powering our champions.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's to the point here on Classic Radio and GBN TV. Let's say welcome back to my, of course, guest, Dr. Anthony Bridgman. Dr. Bridgman, once again, good morning and welcome back. I still want to keep our focus a wee bit on education. You know, it's a critical, issue that we have here, especially not only in Grenada but around the Caribbean as a whole. And an important factor that I haven't heard you mention in terms of the entire policy within the new that you would like to focus on a whole lot is staffing. Staffing of our institution is important when it comes around to in education, sir. And sometimes we know the lack thereof, especially teachers and so forth, to teach youngsters the subject matter that grab the interest. And you spoke a whole lot in terms of the testing factors and so forth, but proper staffing is also needed. Talk to me in relation to that from a movement point of view, sir.
Yes, and that's one of the items of our policy statement with regards to the professionalization of teaching and providing the necessary training and professional development for our teachers. When I use the word professionalization, teaching is one of the best careers out there. I love it. I always wanted to be a teacher and being an educator. In Grenada, I think we have to pay people. Okay, they need to have the credentials necessary. So providing opportunities for them to get the necessary degrees to teach, because that's one of the aspects with regards to the respect in the field. We have to get people more in education. And I think we as educators need to talk more positively about the teaching profession and the education profession. But at the same time, people see how others treat us. People see how politicians treat teachers, what they say about teachers. People see how, in terms of the salary, the working conditions of these teachers. So some of the outsiders may not say, oh man, I don't want to become a teacher because of what I'm seeing. So we need to do a lot more work in establishing really good things for our teachers, make it attractable for people to like to come into the teaching field. But the professional piece for me is the credentials, is the ethical pieces of how we behave, how we treat students. There must be an understanding. I always believe any teacher teaching students must understand the developmental pieces of kids. It's necessary. So staffing is good. The qualification of teachers. We need to, and I know the government and the previous government has done that with regards to scholarship. I do believe that we need to, whatever colleges, if it's TAMCC, Teacher College, I remember back in the day, this was a strong
we still here
internship pieces in Teachers College.
Okay.
Those things.
It's Classic Radio, GBN TV, folks.
You a classroom, you don't understand anything about teaching.
We lost you there for a wee bit, Dr. Bridgman. We did lost you there for a wee bit. We come back. I also want to tap in on, you spoke a whole lot, and you made a critical statement a while ago, which is important. We have to pay the teachers. Having that level of financial literacy is also important when it comes around to, especially when it comes to staffing. Talk to me, and I'm assuming that is also part of that critical policy making of the movement also. When it comes to
yes, the financial literacy is a very big one for our students.
Yeah,
students are going to school and don't understand how to budget. I was in charge of the education system in Grenada, one of the classes that I would have as a mandatory class across the country was financial literacy.
Would there be an age range in terms of you offering that particular class, sir? Sort of lost him there.
And a checkbook.
Yeah.
Those things are foundational pieces for any youngster in our school system. Before you leave school, you should understand financial literacy. And I think the NDC talked a lot about it, and I appreciate that piece. The Prime Minister has spoken about that. It's a needed piece, and the movement, we want to strengthen that and have that in our curriculum, that students can leave school with a thorough understanding of money, of business, and today for themselves to establish business. With regards to salaries for teachers, and I know the salaries are negotiable with the different unions, but we have to pay our teachers more. I strongly believe that. Not because I am a teacher myself and I'm an educator myself, but we really, to attract people, as I said before, into our field, salary payment is important. Because people say, why am I doing this? Yes, we do it for the love of kids, but you have to be compensated and compensated well.
I certainly agree with you there, sir. I mean, and it goes across the board, not only in education, but it goes across the board in all professions. Being paid properly, you certainly will get a better job done. You say that. Another part of your and I'm assuming, and I'm preempting your policies, of course, morning. Healthcare is also a critical part of your policy. Give me some feedback in terms of the policy direction when it comes to healthcare, sir, and the plans of the.
I really want to thank again the committee. We had some medical doctors. We had some public health advocates on the committee that really dissected our current health policy and created some really important pieces. So I'm so proud of this. When this is.
All right, folks, we lost Dr. Bridgman there once again.
No one can come in and say, hey, we're going to break down everything and start anew. Any government that gets the health situation in Grenada together, they will score a lot of points. A lot has tried in the past, but where we are with our healthcare, it's really something that needs a lot of help and improvement. And I have spoken to medical doctors and to hear from them their thought processes as to how we can improve the healthcare piece. And some of the things they talk about is and we have that in terms of the mobile clinics in rural areas, but they need to staff properly with medical doctors. They need to have the resources, the equipment necessary. I'm from St. Andrews in Bylands, and Princess Alice Hospital need to be equipped well. We still have situation when someone, based upon the condition, they have to transport them to St. George. We need all the resources available in those hospitals. We need, I know the Prime Minister said we're going to get some nurses from Ghana. Yes, there is a shortage. There's a brain drain in a lot of fields in Grenada, and in the nursing field and in the health field, there's a brain drain. But what do we do for people to keep them? Okay, that matters. So we have things like to upgrade the hospital and community clinics, which I know this government talk about the Polaris project that they haven't. There's still a lot of questions there. Things we have to do now. We've seen too many situations where people are going into our hospitals and dying for nothing. So here's just something that the movement is talking about. Diversify with regards when someone comes in for the emergency rooms, because a key piece in our healthcare system is our emergency room procedures. Why can't we have nursing assistants or LPNs and so on who can assess the individual while they're there, because in terms of the long wait that people have to. So assessing the need to say, okay, your situation does not require for you to be here. Here's something that you need to do. Again, looking at it and differentiating the higher need and higher priorities in our healthcare field. This is something that we need to do. Reduce overseas medical travel. Again, the idea of looking at from a telemedicine perspective. So those things we're trying to include. We're having more what we call inclusive health plans for persons with disabilities. We don't do well with people who have disabilities in Grenada. And another thing that is the movement we're really focusing on is the mental health piece. And this is something that is close to my heart. that lots of focus on mental health. Sometimes we just mention it when October comes because it's Mental Health Month. So if you were to read our policies and our talking points or each of these things, we really harnessing on health. And by the way, the people that put this together are in the health field, who see it every day. And I listen to them, the pain, but the passion and the love that they have for what they're doing for people and not turning people away. But it's a crisis situation right now in our health field. And it's been happening for a long time. And I'm not criticizing, per se, this government alone. The other government, they try, but we needed to do much more for health in Grenada.
Yes, Dr. Bridgman. You actually spoke about education. You focus a lot on health. Tell me one of the other key policy-driven, policies by the movement that you would certainly like to give a whole attention and bring to the fore for our listeners and viewers this morning. What are the other key policies that you would like to focus on in this segment?
The diaspora engagement and partnership. GT, that's a critical piece for Grenada. Too many times we rely on the diaspora for things, for remittance, send back stuff. But we need real engagement with the diaspora. And I'm glad in the movement because Peter, from his past experience as foreign minister, has done a lot in engaging and creating a diaspora's desk. That was the first in the previous administration with Peter. And we really, for me being in the diaspora, I wrote one of my sons to read about the need. We are not just remittance, we're more than that. So we want to launch a diaspora board for national projects. Key aspect. We want to provide, promote dual citizenship and streamline engagement with our diaspora. I mean, I listen to the cries of people a lot, GT, of our diaspora who come to Grenada to do business and how they're treated. It's shameful. We need to respect our people in the diaspora. They're Grenadians, be it they live in New York, in Canada, in the UK, wherever they are Grenadians all over the world. When we come back home, respect is important for us. Our contribution to Grenada needs to be respected and to accept. So that's, I think, is really important. We want to strengthen embassies to become active hubs of the diaspora development. We also want to leverage the diaspora contributions. We're talking about using concession models for bartering expertise and in exchange for opportunities in Grenada. Again, too many times the diaspora is only being looked upon as, give me something. Be part of the table. And that's one of the things I really love about this movement. There is a diaspora movement in the movement that we meet often. Often, Canada, the UK, we meet to talk about our plans and the movement. It's not just having someone that says the minister or someone for diaspora affairs. I'm not seeing no tangible engagement with our diaspora people. Not just, again, sending a link to say there is an immigration dialogue or stuff like that. We need meaningful engagement and again, the feeling of belonging. You ask anyone from the diaspora, they will tell you the need for the feeling of belonging in Grenada. We are still Grenadians. We love our country. And we want to be part of it, and not just to tap us when you need our resources.
So I've listened to the policies that you spoke of a while ago, starting from education to health. You spoke of the diaspora affairs, of course. Tell me about the ultimate goal of the movement in terms of achieving those policies, sir.
Well, the ultimate goal, and no political party in the right mind will form a political movement and say they contest an election and don't expect to win. We expect to win and to put our policies into, implement our policies. And we want our Grenadians to hold us responsible. One of the things that we will do in winning is to go around the country and listening to the people and getting feedback from our people. I mean, a great piece for me, my leadership piece, is having town hall with my staff, and I would love to see the movement will do. The movement is doing it now, going around and talking and hearing from our people, the grassroots piece, and not forgetting them. So this is the core piece of the movement with regards to what we stand for. Any organization, their principle, their philosophy, and their guiding ideas, what propelled them. So everyone will be speaking in the same voice, the same ideas. So we look into contest. We look into dialogue with Grenada. We're looking to hear from Grenadians. We're looking to get feedback. And we may not have it right. Not everything we say or do, we have to tell people that. Governments come in, and the political campaign is very interesting, that you campaign and you have all these great ideas. But when you get in, governance is different. We have to level with our people and let them know that, governing is, different. We've seen it in New York, and we had just the mayoral election and all that kind of stuff. Great ideas. But let's see in terms of the implementation, because sometimes governance, and this is where you have to come back to the people and dialogue with them and be honest, where transparency matters a lot.
How is the movement, sir, in terms of polling, in your opinion?
Polling, the movement, we did some polling, and I
hope I haven't got you on the spot with that one there.
Sorry?
I hope I haven't just thrown you on the spot with that one.
No, but any organization, now let me answer it this way, GT. Any organization or political movement would not just put themselves out there without doing some surveys, listening to the people, looking to see where they're strong, looking to see where the challenges are, what can they do about it. So this is all I would say about it. No organization, no grassroots movement will put themselves out there and not say, hey, let's see where our strengths are, what are we doing. So that has been done to assess our strengths, our limitations, and so on.
And has the feedback been of a positive nature to you, sir, would you say?
Oh, yes. The feedback has been positive. People are looking for leadership. People have said to us they've given the NDC an opportunity as a young group of people. I call them during the time in terms of youthful exuberance during the campaign. I always stand behind what I say. I don't hide behind what I say. And they showed some examples of that in governance. They did some good things. But there are still some levels of youthful exuberance. And yes, they have defied a lot to come run against a group of experienced folks who have been in politics for a long time and won. I think that shook a lot of people. But after 3 years and stuff in office, some people do have buyer's remorse. Some people may not come publicly and say, but people have spoken. Privately, there's a situation in Grenada where people are scared to talk because what people will come back and say against them. And GT, one of the things that the growth of our nation that I would like to see in Grenada, the coming together of everyone. We are one proud people, man. Don't let politics divide us. It's dividing us too much. If you disagree with me on ideas, let's have a robust debate. Let's not personalize it. We personalize things too much. Read on social media. A live is happening, and the things people are saying on the live. It's okay to disagree. That's part of who we are. But we're going into the depths of decadence. It's ugly. And I wanted to see the Prime Minister do more on this. And Mr. Prime Minister, I respect you highly. Please use the bullet pulpit that you have. People respect you. You have 67% of favorability ratings. Use that to bring us together. This is my cry. Use the bullet pulpit to talk about one Grenada. We're not seeing that. This is a failure of leadership, I would say, on his part. Bring us together. It's okay to disagree. I met the PM and I said to him, I disagree with you. I'm the one who, and he knew it. We laughed. But too many times people on social media, as Grenadians, the movement is about inclusiveness, bringing people together. If you hear Peter speak, he's always about inclusiveness, ideas, togetherness, one Grenada, unity in purpose. It's not us against them. It's not that the NNP has bad ideas. No. Take the ideas they have and work together, but they have to show up. That's important. So, GT, I'm yearning for that piece. I went, a little long on this, but that's my passion. Right. That's my big hill that I will die on.
Understandably so. We due for a break, Dr. Bridgman, and we come back in the final segment. My phones are going, which means our listeners and viewers may have a question or two they would like to ask you, sir, when we come back in the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Let's take that break. When we come back, of course, the listeners and viewers, you get the opportunity to call in. Let's take that break.
Looking to shop online from your favorite stores like Amazon and Shein with
Grenada, get ready for a fantastic explosion. It's Pan Invasion, the official handover of steel pans to communities across Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. On Saturday, November 8th at 5:30 p.m. at the Tanti Netball Court. Experience the thrill of live steel pan music. Feel the rhythm in every beat at Pan Invasion. Enjoy electrifying performances by top local steel orchestras and special guest artists. Whether you're a die-hard pan lover or just in the mood for some good vibes, this is the event you don't want to miss. So join us at Pan Invasion on Saturday, November 8th, 5:30 p.m. at the Tanti Netball Court. Presented by the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Economy and Culture.
Hello Grenada, this is your boy, the Pink Panther, and I'll be performing at the Hubbard's 19th Annual Legends in Concert on the 9th of November. I'm currently celebrating my 50 years in Calypso Business Stanford, and there's no better way to celebrate this moment than you in Grenada on November the 9th. See you there at the Trade Center.
Very circumspect and conduct yourself with respect.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back, of course, Dr. Bridgman. We're into the final segment of today's edition of To The Point, and we do have a few more minutes that we could certainly entertain a few calls from our listeners and viewers this morning. Please go to the phone line and go to our first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings. And to your guest. Listen, Mr. Telesford, can you confirm that your guest is hearing me well?
Dr. Bridgman, do you want to confirm that, sir?
Yes, I am.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'm an old timer. Getting over the fence already, we've seen a bit of things. And I am convinced that with all the efforts made by the previous administrations, from even prior to the revolution, to date, we are still lacking, we are still failing. We are not accomplishing certain very important things for the advancement, the true advancement with the people collectively, as you have stressed on. We are not. And I am convinced, based on certain documents published, one particularly in 2002, when a commission was set up to modify or alter the constitutional architecture of this country so that we can make ourselves independent with our own constitution through a constituent assembly, etc. Nothing has been done towards that. We continue to be to live under an imperial order in council of the Majesty's most excellent order. Sir, do you think that under these current circumstances, we can really make changes for the future of this country, to be able to do it collectively, in unity, with clear understanding the difference of what are national civic matters and not partisan demagoguery? Do you really believe, sir, that we can build a country as a people with full knowledge of ourselves under this current system? This is principle. I trust that my question is understood, sir. I hope to have other opportunities to question you further on other matters. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Will you, sir?
Your response, Dr. Bridgman?
Thank you so much. And is this name Roy?
Yes.
What?
It's Mr.
Yes,
Roller.
by the way, he's one of your really consistent and long-time listener. I remember being on GBN with Brenda Batiste, and he's always there asking questions. So thank you, sir, as being a loyal listener to the radio station and your contribution. Yes, we know that structure influences behavior, and the system that we operate in on, at times we need to change the system. One of the things he said, and I'm totally in agreement with him, the civic-mindedness of our people. We really need to do a lot more with regards to that in terms of civic teaching that in our school system. And yes, we may have to adapt and change our structure with regards to have sustained change in Grenada. So I'm in agreement with him.
All right. We do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. Welcome. Let's hear from you.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Bridgman. Mr. Bridgman is speak well, and I wish you guys all the best. Mr. Bridgman, you came up with 67%.
Caller, you there? We may have lost that caller.
That give that. Okay, Mr. Bridgman.
Go right ahead, please, caller. Go right ahead,
please.
Sir.
I mean, I'm listening.
Okay, I want to know that if there was a survey in Grenada that gave the Prime Minister that 67%. Okay, my second question, Mr. Bridgman, Peter David been in a party that served for 23 years, all right? Mm-hmm. You see the victimization, a couple people like Gemma Bain, you see what happened to Kim the King, George Grant. You know, why Peter David never speak out? Because you have him like a great leader now, and all these things, he stick there. And also he went so far now to put up himself as the leader of the party. And when he did not get it now, then he went and formed the movement. So then I want to know, how could we as Grenadians follow somebody who see all the victimization of Grenadians and did nothing, not even one day, speak out about it? And then my last question to you, I want to know that if your movement was from the NJM party that you guys trying to rebuild, or also I want to know if any members of the Revolutionary Military Council that was responsible for the death of Maurice Bishop and others are part of your movement, like people like Ewart Lane.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, caller. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you for your question. You asked a number of questions here. I can only speak about what I know. But by the way, in terms of you saying that Peter never spoke out, I guess you meant maybe he never spoke out publicly. I don't know the interactions privately. And sometimes when you're involved in systems, for me in leadership, if I have issues internally, I will address it internally. For coming out publicly at times, it's not a good look. You try to address things internally first. With regards to the revolutionary pieces, I don't know anything about that. An NJM piece, I know the name that you call is not a name that I'm familiar with in any of my dealings with the movement. And by the way, Grenada is one country. Let's just speak honestly here. We tend to divide people. Yes, the revolution was part of our history. I was a young boy during that time in the revolution, and I'm someone at a young age followed and loved great speeches. I love great debate, and I used to go listen to great speeches and read books and stuff. So this is part of our history. So let's if we go out to unify and have a unified purpose, we have to forget, not necessarily, sorry, let me change that word, not forget, but we need to understand our past and accept people if they change, and not just hold things above people's head and stuff with regards to what they did and who did that and who did what. We are one Grenada, and in people we all have a past. But But we need to accept people for who they are and not just hold things against people and say, because you are part of this, you can't do this now. That's not growth. That's not leadership. That's not a nation-building piece. Everyone has a role to play in contributing to Grenadian society.
All right, we do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
And I certainly agree with the doctor that is on board. He is so correct. In the same vein, this present administration, they basically showed what they can do in terms of education. Thus far, over 540-something persons got scholarship. They revamped the education system, and it's a work in the making. So based even on that fact, and the kind of a school they're starting, for example, St. David's Catholic Secondary School, the WASH program, and many other things, the raising of the salary. And now they instituted also something recently in Parliament where pensions and so on and so forth. So we are seeing an upward trajectory in terms of the movement of this present administration under the leadership of Deacon Mitchell. So what I'm saying is, nothing happened overnight. There is not a magic switch. So Deacon Mitchell is taking his time and doing it piece by piece, one day at a time. So he's taking his time and he's doing what he promised he will do. Thus far, over 70% of what he promised during the election campaign have been fulfilled. So in terms of what you just said, you are totally correct, and Grenada heading the right way. All we need to do is pray for the Prime Minister. Have a pleasant day, sir.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Any response to the caller? We move to another.
Yeah, thank you, caller. And again, the caller made some good points. As I said before, this government has done some good things. In my writing, I have identified some of the things this government has done. But also this government has done some things that need improvement. And there are some things that they have to have more dialogue with the people. They have to be more transparent. They have to, again, it seems as if in terms of the leader from the top piece. I think for me, they spend too much time on social media that always have to walk around with a camera or someone to identify. I think, we don't need to always see that. We know that, people will talk about what you do. Don't always got to show it on social media. If you visit this elderly person and give them something, you have to have a picture, a video, or something of that. Sometimes people don't want to be seen and let people know that they're struggling. So, but they have done some good things, and it will be for me sitting here saying that no, this government is this and bad and all that kind of stuff. No, I wouldn't not do that. That would be hypocritical for me to do that. Oh. But the movement has great plans for Grenada, and I do believe that the movement will fulfill those plans. And with regards to the transparency piece and dialogue and inclusiveness, I don't think this government is inclusive. I don't think so at all.
Let's take another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, GT, and good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. And I do know your guests very well. And the first question I would like to ask your guest, because I would want to ask more, is that whether or not would he be contesting in the next general election under the movement? Also, I would also like to ask, given the fact that he has spoken about a history, and history is important. We have to know where we were and where we're going in order to actually move forward. Now, there are some things that if he does, and he speaks that he seems to know a lot about human behavior, and that human behavior, your past do predict your future, and it does predict certain behavior tendencies that you would have in the future. It doesn't mean that because you would have had that past and you claim to change, that everything would be changed. Now, I also want to make the caller aware that I do notice that he did mention a number of points in regards to what the movement intends to do. Now, he also didn't, what he didn't, and he did an excellent sales job in respect to selling the movement to the people. But I want to advise the caller that when you get on the ground, it's a different situation altogether. And when you get to understand what it means to be leading in Grenada's government and the bureaucracy here and there, and to what takes place and what transpires beyond that. It's a different situation than just talk outside of it. So I want to inform the caller, hey, there is one thing to say one thing, and there's another thing to get into when you have boots on the ground, it's a different situation altogether. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. And that was our final caller for the morning. I'm assuming, Dr. Bridgman, you may have a response for the caller, and of course, I get some closing remarks from you also.
Things you raised, and let me take the last first. The piece on the ground. Reality is always to give us a slap in our face. So that's true. The reality on the ground matters a lot. This is why you have to spend time on the ground first before you start talking about forming a movement, and this is what we did, spending time on the ground, going into different constituencies, into some villages, and listening to the people and ideas and stuff. So yes, reality matters, and the ground matters a lot. The second piece, no, the past does not. You use the word predict. That's a strong, loaded word. The past doesn't predict our future. The past influences us, and we need to be aware of our past, that at times, if you have unresolved issues in terms of the past, it may affect you right now, but it does not predict. It really serves as an influence, as a guide and stuff like that with regards to the now. For me, your first question with regards to whether I'll be running for political office, no, sir. I will support the movement. I would provide whatever resources or whatever I have, human capital with regards for me. And Grenada, I love Grenada, but I'm not going to be running for no political office. This is something people have asked of me and all that kind of stuff in the past, even during the NNP reign. So no, my answer still remains no, but I'm going to be a very active participant in the affairs in terms of Grenada, supporting Grenada for its future. So thanks again for the question.
Dr. Bridgman, any closing remarks before we take a wrap for today?
Thank you so much, GT, for the opportunity to dialogue and talk to your listeners. Your last caller talked about I did a good job of selling the movement. My job was not necessarily to sell the movement, but if people listen and accept it, I am a strong believer and supporter of the movement. I believe in what we are doing, and I think people in Grenada listen to us, read, be informed. You may have concerns and issues, and with regards to people talk about the age of our leader, he has experience. And I don't get caught up in ageism at all. Experience matters for me, and what the person brings and who the person is matter to me more than the age of the person. So I want people to listen. I want people to have an open air and be open to receive information. You may support your political party, and that's fine. We all have different aspirations and interests, but listen to each of us and what we say, and be informed in terms of the decision. And I know a lot of folks, you said, this is who I am and nobody can change me. Be open to ideas. Be not rigid. So I want to thank you again, and I look forward to the movement launch, and to look forward to people joining us. Be part of it. It's a powerful movement. Thank you so much, Grenada.
Dr. Bridgman, once again, I want to thank you a whole lot for being on today's edition of To The Point. Of course, was definitely a constructive conversation this morning. Best wishes for the rest of the day, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Same to you.
All right. Hey, folks, that's where we take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. Thanks to all who contributed to today's program. All the best, folks. That's where we say goodbye.